Hello warriors, so for today's video, Peter has a message for you. Today's theme is going to be about mindset, warrior's mindset. What is it? How do we use it in real life? Those are all the things that is going to be today's theme. Have you ever heard a phrase that victory in a battle means that it's 80% mindset, 15% is tactics, and only 5% of all of those is actually technique? But then when you look at all the systems that are training, it's basically only the technique. But if you look at exactly all of the technique, but if you look at real life, it's not that much about technique. Of course, it's not to say that this is statistic, because this is how it's every single time, because that's impossible to do. But overall, and even from Peter's experience of 25 years plus as an instructor, tells that there is a lot of truth into this phrase of 80%, 15, and 5.
We can mention my experience with the special forces, or child, or women, or handicaps, and this stuff. And everywhere is the same. If you not be able to say something like, okay, I am really prepared for the fight, I want to fight, I have a big problem and I am in the big trouble, because I'm not prepared for anything, absolutely nothing.
80% of the whole victory in a battle is a mindset. That basically indicates that if right away before the battle even starts, I'm already afraid, I already lost the battle in my mind, basically what starts happening is I'm mentally, because of my reptile brain, and parallel cortex starts failing. I am in that position of a 6-year-old child, which if you look at 6-year-old child, like in that situation, I am not going to figure any good solutions.
There is only a reflex, a fight, fly, or freeze, nothing more.
When you think about an untrained person who has never been in a training, no experience, what do you think out of all those three is most possibly for him to happen? If you said freeze, that is correct, because most of the people that are in the situation first time, they are so surprised of it is actually happening, they're screaming, there is blood, there's all of this happening, that they just completely freeze, which is basically the thing that kills people in those situations. One exception for all, let's look at a car crash. If the person who has never, even in model situation, lived a car crash, all of a sudden when he gets there, he'll be shocked that it's actually happened. Now there's a crying child, there's blood, there's a lot of people screaming, running around, the whole chaos of the situation. And the person who has never experienced it, the brain will just go into freeze because it doesn't know what it was supposed to do.
It's a similar like, okay, there's somebody with the knife, for example. If you don't know how react for this situation, because you don't have any experience like that, you only freeze. There is the blade, I'm really scary of the, he wants to kill me or something like this, and you freeze and do nothing. This is a big problem. You are in the big trouble now, because you don't be able to react, even to move, even to run, only freeze and wait for nothing. Probably you die.
The second one is flight, which is less common than actually the freeze. Basically, what's happening here is you would run, but only in a case where you would see many people are already running, so that gives me the point I should run as well. But if we are talking about like very stressful situation like the knife attack, and you may think I would just run, there's a big probability that you would freeze and not run or fly, because in the stress of the situation, if you are really scared of what's happening, the chances of you actually running away are not that big. And the third one, which is the final one, and it's fight. This is as well like not very common amongst people that actually have never trained. You will have to probably have it in your body like from the beginning, that you are like tempered people who has a lot of anger issues, and then maybe he would start a fight. But even then, the fighting wouldn't be like fighting. It would always be about I'm fighting scared, so I'm not fighting like I would normally want to fight because I have the confidence and because you are smaller, weaker. It would be the opposite. I'm fighting like I'm scared because knife, because multiple attackers, because he's bigger and I no longer have the advantage. Which all means that if 80% of the winning of the fight is mindset, that means that 80% of the training should be mindset. And then we look at the problem when everyone's just training technique. If you look at it like, no, punch should be like this, no, the elbow was way too low, you need to go higher. Just think about it as, when is the last time that someone was hitting a heavy bag, or he was focused on it should be fast, it should be quick, powerful, and that actually hitting the heavy bag prepared him for someone screaming at me, running at me with a knife. You just wasted so much time on perfecting the technique that because of your mindset, you won't even be able to do in real life. Which brings us to the second point, that if 15% of the fight is tactic, are you training tactic actually? Are you actually training I can use cars, I can use lamps, I can use doors and etc. Are you? Or are you just, again, focusing only on technique? When is the last time that you went outside and actually tried to fight outside, have a training outside? Because in the moment, if you haven't trained, okay, I see a car, I can run around it, to think, I'm just going to think about it in real life?
Never. It's the answer.
Just, yeah, never happens. So take the training outside, look around, use the advantages because you have it outside. Don't just focus on the technique. And if you cannot go outside and you have the training in the gym, try to model the things. If you can, grab some big pads, use it as this is a car, this is a chair, because even those you are going to be using, all the way to having just weapons in the training. If you think you're going to go for a weapon, but you never train with weapons, it's the same as before. You are just not going to do it.
You needed a lot of experience with the muscle memory, let's say, for the using the weapons in the training and in the reality, because it's really similar. If you never thinking about, okay, what is the next, what is the before, do you have the time, do you have the distance or not, because you don't have any experience in the training like this, okay, you probably not be able to use the weapon in the reality. There's a lot of problems with the, okay, I try, but I don't expect that he wants to hit me, he wants to stab me or something like that. Or there's the multiple attacks, I am on the ground, whatever. It's so different. Yeah, you needed a big differences between the training for the reality or for the gym.
How do we actually train the mindset if it's so important? The answer would be to really focus heavily on model situations, because they will prepare you the best for reality. You need to know how to work if I'm surprised, because that's the biggest factor outside. I'm surprised, he's really aggressive on me, there's blood, I need to be able to treat my wound if I see blood coming out of it, or save my friend because there's blood just pouring out of him, all the way to there's a dark, or there's some flashing lights because of disco. Even just the small thing like pain, like actually in the training it hurts what the partner is doing and we not just stop, but he continues. And I need to work through the pain to solve the situation. Keep in mind that it just cannot be from nothing to 100% all of a sudden. The same would go if you want to prepare the school of kids for active shooter and you're going to do it like, I'm not going to tell the kids that there's actually some simulation and all of a sudden someone just runs and starts shooting with a gun to prepare them and see their reaction. And the kids are actually thinking they are experiencing a real life attack and they will get traumatized and the training hasn't done anything. The same goes if you want to train someone for a car crash, but they have never been in it, and all of a sudden first simulation is right away, 5 dead kids, bodies are ripped everywhere, people are screaming, crying, and there's a lot of blood.
Too real, let's say, too real.
And then the people just completely freeze in the moment once again. The training didn't really help them. All the way to we want to prepare a woman for rape, so that's what we are going to do in training. It's just way too much. You need it like what they are expecting and a level above what they are expecting, not what they are expecting and you just go over the roof and they'll never come back to training. It's the same as if you would want to get acclimatized to cold water. You're not just going to, on the very first day, take off all of your clothes and just jump under the ice. Like, that's not what you are going to do. So even in the model situations, step by step are completely normal and they are good. That's what you should be doing. So if there's a person who is starting and he's very soft, we need to create a softer model situation for him to get acclimatized. If the person is already a little bit tougher and all of that, throw him somewhere in the middle. But even those person to just think, oh, he's tough, so I'm just going to throw him into a hyper-realistic situation, let alone that how traumatizing it is. Second of all, it can be dangerous even for the concept of training. So we can train the mindset by the model situation or just training some of the aspects of it all the way to we could be talking about, is the trainer, instructor, my mentor? Like, is he actually what he's speaking about, or is he just talking about it? So is he living it? That would be the best assumption. Is he living it? All the way to just the couple of sentences that I have in my head, and that's what I'm actually using in the training. One of the first could be never give up. I'll never give up. What we are talking about right now is the mindset of no matter what happens, I will fight until my last breath. I'm still fighting. With Pierre's many friends, they have the stories of how they were fighting, something blew, their legs are gone, but besides of just laying down and I'm going to die, still crawling those extra 2 kilometers, getting to the safety so I can survive because I have to, I need to. That is the big difference between never give up and after the first big strike, I'm just finishing. It could be very similar to never give up, but always keep going. Always keep going, no matter what's happening, no matter how hard it hurts, no matter what this and that. I am just keep going. If you think about this person, you can think that how hard is it going to beat him in a ring, from MMA to boxing to whatever, all the way to in the street, because no matter what you are doing, he keeps getting up, he keeps going and going. And at that point, you are just fighting a machine. And now think about how easy or how hard it is to actually beat the machine. So no matter if it's sport in real life, if the person does have this mindset, to actually beat him is very, very hard. Which definitely means if you are never giving up, you are still going, keep going, it leads to you rather dying in the situation than actually admitting that you lost and letting the second person win. If you want to look at it differently, I'm in an armbar, it's getting very tight. Besides tapping out, I just let the arm get broken, but then still get up and just hit him even with a broken arm. Which is actually getting closer to the mindset that is the theme of today's video. But I think, Peer, you have a very good story of a Finland bare knuckle boxer. Serbian bare knuckle boxer who even in a ring got his skull kicked off. And guess what? He still kept fighting. What happened was that he then came to training, saw this ice and said to himself that I'm not really going into that. Because the people can feel it. People can feel it and people can see it. So then what happens if there's just a common scum on the street who thinks he's the tough and then he meets someone who is actually tough? Like him thinking twice about, do I really want to? Because probably not. When you see this mindset, it's in all the top athletes, people who are running big businesses or members of special forces. All there is the same. On one hand, it's the survival, because you need to survive, you have this mindset. All the way to, I'm actually like, not to sound weird, excited for it, because it's something I've been training for, I've been waiting for this, and like you are going to die if we meet right now in this situation. Because one of us is dying and it's not going to be me.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me!
This is the mindset how it would be best described. And all of this leads to the point that we are going to talk about right now, which is like a controlled aggression. So you basically need to do in all of these situations is kind of awaken or awake the inner thing that's in you to survive the situation. What I'm talking about is if there's a girl and she's fighting for her survival or of her kids, you need to awaken her inside tiger that is protecting the cubs. And you know how tiger is when he's protecting the cubs? It's aggressive, vicious, and just wants to kill you. If we are talking about man, awakening his inner like Viking, because if he doesn't now beat these 10 people in the bar, like he's dying and his journey completely finishes there. And this is kind of like the controlled aggression, what you need to be able to turn on. The berserk to, I just will go through. This is a good point of being able to turn on the berserk, but different mastery is being able to turn it off. Because in the sense of I was defending myself, but I am still in the fit of rage and I just start jumping on his head until the head is no longer, and then I go to prison because I wasn't able to turn it off. A good story that I just heard was people were attacked with knives, then with their knives killed the two attackers, and then someone else completely random was coming, so they grabbed her and started stabbing her. Because they weren't able to turn off the aggression, they were just always in that someone came and then they're paying the price because they weren't able to turn it off. So both are equally as important. But this was a little bit different video from the rest, because the rest were like how to defend against, action scenes. This was a little bit different, which is like, I think very valuable, not only for you as viewers, but even for me to like hear and listen to all of these mindset things, because you never really sit and think, is the mindset that important? And then you start listening to experience and you're like, yeah, like this is actually what I'm missing. And if you are missing this in the training, let us know in the comments. Let us know if you have been already training like this. And if not, think twice about what are you actually training for? Is it like how to look good in a fight or how to survive the fight? Because those are different things. Like the video if you really did enjoy. There's going to be more of these coming up. So subscribe to see them, and thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.